Hi everyone, welcome to the shack in West Oxfordshire, and as you can see we've had a covering of snow overnight and this morning. I think mostly this morning. It's stopped snowing now, but according to the BBC website it's going to start again in the afternoon, but I don't know how bad it's going to be. But the roads are not brilliant. Once you get out onto the sort of main roads they're okay, but like my street, for example, is basically the road is white. It hasn't sort of cut through the snow at all. So I went and got some petrol, but apart from that, it's a bit dicey around here until you get onto the sort of main trunk roads. I don't normally do a part two to the weekend update, but I thought I'd share the scene with you. So this snow, I suppose, what's the date today? It's about a month late, really, isn't it? Getting on for, but quite nice, no doubt. All the kids across the county and the country will enjoy it. So part of the reason for the update is because we had the results through of the RSGB AFS 80 and 40 metre contest from a couple of weeks ago. This was a phone contest, SSB, and the point was basically that you could operate on either band, and you got a point effectively for every station that you worked, and then you submit your results, and the RSGB basically collate the scores and check the logs to make sure that they're okay, check them for errors. I use N1MM logger and N1MM plus logger. I think that's what it's called. It's an absolute mouthful. I'm actually gonna, okay, yes, it's November 1 Mike logger plus is what it's actually called. And this contest that I did a couple of weeks ago was, I think it was only the second time that I'd actually done a contest, and actually on the fly put the stations I worked straight into the computer. I think I'd done that once before, and which is obviously much easier than writing them all down in a book and then uploading them afterwards. That is a real pain, but that's what I've done. And because I had planned to do that, the radio I actually used for the contest wasn't the 7300, but it was actually the FT991. And during this contest, I grew to kind of love that radio again a little bit. It doesn't get a lot of use except for FT8. I just use it primarily for FT8, and I used that radio because it was the one that I could reach without having to sort of move the whole shack around. My shack isn't really designed like a typical ham shack where you've got the computers very close to the radios, because obviously I'm not just a radio ham, I'm also a DXer. So having said that, of course, I probably could operate in that way, but you know, this is what the shack is right now. So anyway, I used the FT991, and I made 130 contacts. It was a 4-hour contest. Started at sort of 1 p.m. local UK time, finished at 5 p.m. And I operated on and off for a couple of hours, and I got, in the end, after adjudication, I think I got 127 contacts, because I misheard 5 stations and 5 stations basically misheard me. But it was a lot of fun. I've done VHF and UHF contests, sort of 2 meters 77s, and sort of enjoyed them. But it's always a battle because I don't have any horizontal beam antennas. My antennas are all vertically polarized, so you're 20 dBs out of the game straight away. And although I have made contacts during those contests, there doesn't seem a lot of point, at least from my perspective, doing that and knowing that you're going to be somewhere near the bottom of the pile. I'm a bit too competitive for that, and I'm not really, my interests really lie in HF, not VHF or UHF, unlike some of the other club members who are the complete opposite. So I really enjoy the HF contests, and I don't particularly enjoy VHF or UHF so much. But anyway, we've got the results through for this contest, and the Harwell A team, which comprises of G0 ODQ, G3 MEH, M0KEP and G8CUL. They came 12th as a team out of 77 teams. That a lot of clubs have more than one team, with a combined score of 811 points, which was very good indeed. And this is a picture that I robbed from our website of Mike, G8CUL, operating, not on this contest, but from probably several years ago. And the B team, this is the Harwell Twitter feed, by the way. The B team, which consists of myself, M0UHF, G4BRK, and G2U, we came 32nd out of 77, excuse me, with a combined score of 371 points. So we beat several clubs who only put in one team. So that was quite good, I thought, and a much better result for me personally than any of the VHF contests that I've been involved in. And yeah, I did. It surprised me that I enjoyed it as much as I did, because I think part of the reason is because basically I've got a better setup for HF than I have VHF. This was the first time ever where I had a queue of stations effectively waiting to work me on 80 meters. I didn't work 40 very much because unfortunately during the event the 40-meter band was not exactly dead as a dodo, but it wasn't in good shape. So I did QSY to 40 for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then QSY back to 80. And on 80 meters, yeah, I obviously had quite a strong signal. I was running about 95 watts, and I sort of had a mini pile-up going several times, which sort of felt great, really. It's the first time in my ham radio career that's happened. So yeah, it was really good. And as I said, I was using the FT991 because that's basically the radio that I can reach without moving things around, and I really enjoyed using it. So anyway, all of this stuff now appears on the Harwell Amateur Radio Society Twitter feed since I took over it. And what's interesting is we've gone from, I think we had 65 followers when I took it over about a week and a half ago. We've now got 123. So, making progress. And anyone watching this who's interested in radio, we would be very grateful if you would follow us. So there you go. So that's by means of one update. I'm just listening actually also this morning to the Rafars net.
Right down in a nice darkened room with a nice ice pack on top of your head, John. That'll do you absolutely fine. Stay like that for a day or two and you'll be absolutely wonderful. John.
Yeah, my wife always dearly loves them for all not frozen margaritas. I just have to change the name.
So the guy that runs that net, Colin, is a lovely guy, very welcoming. I've joined in several times, and they're such a good bunch of guys with the Rafars net. It's basically the more the merrier as far as they're concerned. It doesn't matter that you haven't been in the Royal Air Force or any of that. They're just very, very welcoming. So always enjoyed listening to them. If I'm working and I can't get involved in actually participating, quite often listen to them. Just a lovely bunch of guys. This morning, what I'm also doing is I've been listening to some sort of daylight stations on what time is it here? It's 12:27 local time here on longwave, and here on 153 kilohertz, got quite a nice signal. Got very good signal from Antenna Satellor, Brasov, Romania, on 153. So not always possible to hear them very well on during daylight. Obviously they're always very strong at night, but today they're quite strong. And then if I just narrow it a little bit, the bandwidth, let's go to Morocco, Nador, also quite strong. S7, not bad for daylight reception from Morocco. I'm going to LSB because I'm now going to go to Iceland and see if we can hear anything from Iceland. I've overshot. What am I doing? no audio from Iceland, although it is possible to hear them during the day. If we go to 207 and go upper sideband, no, nothing there. So let's go to Polski. See this lump of noise here, but a decent daylight signal from Polski radio. And then obviously 234 RTL will be strong.
Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est Où va la France sur RTL. Je dis bonjour à Michel Fournier, président de l'association.
Huge signal, that's 11.5 kilohertz audio bandwidth filter. So they're strong, as you'd expect.
Des Vosges, combien d'habitants? 330. Et son nom? Les Voivres. Les Voivres. Bonjour.
Stars that you can see with the naked eye. You won't see 7 maybe if you're in a light polluted area
RTE.
or if your eyes aren't so good. But if you have binoculars, have a look at that, and it's absolutely beautiful. You can see dozens, scores of stars with binoculars and hundreds with a good time.
So there you go. What was interesting was that earlier when I was looking at looking through the band on Longwave, there was the carrier from Kaulenberg from Denmark was there. Just the carrier, no modulation at all. I did record their signal actually a few mornings ago, maybe about a week ago, which I'm not sure if I've uploaded it or not yet, but lovely signal from Kaulenberg normally. Very nice audio indeed. So there you go. So some of the long wave signals are very copyable this afternoon, even though it's daylight hours. Particularly nice that I can hear Antenna Satellor. Shame about the noise, but that's not normally there actually. So it just goes to show something's causing that lump of crud. So that's about it really. So that's the update from the shack today. I quite like a bit of snow from an aesthetics point of view. It's a bit of a pain obviously if you've got to go somewhere. As I said, the roads earlier when I got petrol weren't particularly good, but it actually does look like the temperatures are a little bit above zero. So some of the grass is starting to poke through now, so no doubt that will it'll probably melt. But although there is some more forecast later on, I guess it depends later on if the temperature drops again and it actually does start snowing again. So there you go. And then I'll leave the last comments to Colin on Rafar's net.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you, Ian? How have you been at work? Hope everything's okay with you there. MW3 WZD from MW0 OZI.
There you go. Okay, well, I'm definitely not going to be doing this all the time. There was just a sort of few things to add from the video that I recorded on yesterday or Friday. So I just thought it was worthy of a part 2 this weekend, as there's a few things going on in the shack. So anyway, everybody keep safe. Wish you good DX. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, what's left of it, and no doubt I'll talk to you again soon. So 73s from West Oxfordshire.